you guys for your grace under pressure. This is going to be the fastest design lab you've ever participated in, I'm sure. So I hope this was a good experience and really rapid prototyping for some big ideas. So we're going to start with our first group. Again, this will all be live streamed on the UDO Facebook page. And then in the comment section, the groups that get the most votes will then be highlighted and celebrated at the EcoSoc Youth Forum in New York in 2 weeks. They will talk more about that. So the first up, affordable and clean energy. Let's hear it. Wherever you want to see up here.
So good afternoon. I think first we have to introduce ourselves. So my name is Orsia Johanna Sipik and I'm from Hungary. And I'm working at the University Faculty of Law and Political Sciences and I'm teaching at the International European Law Department. And I'm an assistant coordinator of Regional Academy of the United Nations from Hungary. And please introduce yourself.
My name is Daria Makovic. I come from Serbia. I'm a master student at the Faculty of Political Sciences, University of Belgrade. Currently here as a peer plus to the Regional Academy of the United Nations and a volunteer at the State's Attorney's Office of the Republic of Serbia. So, well, our SDG is affordable and clean energy, and as a right to energy is one of the basic human rights, we see that we are to enable it to those in developing countries who have not been able to use energy sources affordable to them.
So first we would like to concentrate on more to developed countries and raising awareness in those countries because we can realize that sometimes we overuse energy and we're not using efficient energy sources. So we like to raise awareness. And in this case, we can save money and energy and other financial sources in developed countries. And we would like to throw this money into the developing countries. And we would like to use charity organizations, but we would like to use this it's really hard to use and really out of this field, new currency types to create transparency.
Yes, and at the same time we will enable transparency of charity. We will also enable a second human right to the developing countries, and that is right to a healthy environment by using clean energy sources.
So that's all for now, and I have to say it was not easy because we are more about the theoretical side, but I think it's kind of a shame that it could be useful for even the developed and the developing countries, so thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. This certainly is not easy, and for those watching online, these are mostly students and social innovators who are learning about this project in less than an hour to prepare to solve some of the largest challenges with some of the most innovative solutions. So really impressed. Thank you guys so much. Up next, we have Smart Water. Let's hear from Smart Water.
Okay, so with Smart Water, we want to solve the SDG number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. And you probably did not know this, but around 63 liters of rainwater per person per day are wasted. And now count that up to around 7 billion people in the world. So what we want to do is to introduce a system that is within each household that collects rainwater that we would otherwise just waste every day, like rainwater, I don't know, when you're doing your dishes, all the water that goes into the sink, or when you're trying to regulate the heat of the water in a perfect way, you know, all these kind of things. We have a system, as you can see in our little graph, that collects this water and makes it usable in other ways, for example, for the toilet flush. So not only are you saving water, so you're saving money, but also you're doing something good for the environment. How we want to include the blockchain technology is with an online, like a digital system that measures the amount of water that you're saving. And to have like an incentive for people to save water and to actually use this, so that, for example, like this, all this data is being collected, being sent to the government, and with this you can, for example, get tax incentives, subsidies, or any other incentives to get money back, and to really push people all around the world to save water and be mindful about saving water and also save money. So yes, this is our project.
Thank you so much. Brilliant idea, taking great water systems, smart metering, being able to use blockchain technology for a huge issue. So thank you so much for that. Next up, we have SDG 14, WIT. Let's hear it for WIT.
So hey guys, our SDG was number 14, precisely life below water, and we want to especially thank to Alexander Widmar that highly inspired our entrepreneurship.
And our enterprise would be called Water Intelligent Turtle, because we would make through our enterprise we would make those turtles intelligent, so we will hear why.
Okay, so the thing that we want to tackle is the pollution related to the endangered and already hurt animals that are in the ocean.
So now we will go to the technology we are proposing. We would also use the blockchain and artificial intelligence nanotechnological devices, which would be detecting and targeting the most polluted areas in the ocean. And these devices will be transmitting ultrasounds, which would then prevent the enemies from going to these areas, and hence they won't be trapped by the plastic waste as this poor turtle on the picture is.
So we here mentioned the preventive measures, but we would also like to tackle the problem of already existing problem, which would be try to save the animals that are already hurt by these plastic islands, and that would be building areas in coastal areas, some reservoirs which would help these animals to get better. So thank you for listening, and we hope that these ideas will become true.
Thank you guys. Really inspiring, and we hope that these ideas get you thinking about the SDGs that maybe you're most passionate about, that you didn't have in your group, and maybe that can start some other new social enterprises. Next up, a gift from Rob. Let's hear it from Rob.
So here we are. I thank everyone for this chance to give us this chance to present our idea. And so we have the goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities, yeah. And we chose the name of Gift of Ra because Ra is a sun goddess, the Egyptian one. So first of all, I'm Shams Mahmoud. I come from Egypt. I live here now since 3 years. I'm a student, and yeah, that's why we chose that name, because it's Egyptian sun, yeah, goddess. And we have target Cairo as a big city. It's the capital city of Egypt. And we came up with some ideas, and I will let the members to explain to you the rest. So please.
So this project is perfect for a country like Egypt because it's clean, it's affordable, it doesn't harm the poor, and it also creates jobs.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel Esposito and I'm coming from Hungary, the University of Sweden, and we have a hilarious idea because we would like to fix solar panels on the roof of the taxis in Cairo, and that's why the taxi drivers will be super glad. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Blanca Bartos and I'm a Hungarian law student. I'm going to explain how we want to make this new system in Cairo affordable. We will use blockchain technologies because the taxi drivers can purchase these kind of taxis with the solar system through blockchain, and this would be better than otherwise because the people who are gonna call these taxis won't have internet connection because there are not big internet connection services in Cairo, so that's a bit it's better for the taxi drivers to use this technology.
Thank you for listening.
Fascinating idea, solar powered taxis, internet service. I hope you guys continue to think out of the box, to step out of your comfort zones, and really look into these new innovative solutions. So really appreciate that, guys. Next up. Next up, we have SDG 3. Let's hear it for SDG 3.
Hello everybody, I'm Oka, back here again. We had SDG 3, which is of course the good health and well-being SDG, and we have three kind of similar ideas that kind of went in different directions. The first one, the biggest one, will be a global health record database that is put on blockchain that is accessible cross-border. So if there was to be people leaving a conflict zone to the next country, their health records would be, or another country, their health records would be on the list on the blockchain. So you could also tie this, make this blockchain available, make this list available to any sort of incentivizer. So it could be insurance companies, for example, if you did any good or if you took your vaccines, that they could lower your premiums, or in other situations find another top-to-bottom approach in incentivizing people to use this system. So as far as the data security is concerned, the list on the blockchain will be accessible to approved healthcare centers and hospitals in certain areas, along with the whoever is going to be incentivizing the usage. The second idea will be the global list of the supply and demand in healthcare, so healthcare professionals and the need of healthcare in certain zones, so you can control, mix and match the supply and demand in this area. Another idea will be a crowdfunding platform that is specifically for this SDG, which should also be used for any SDG that is here right now, and where you would have a list of specific projects where right now, if you were to donate money to a charity, maybe some people don't trust that their money is actually going to a good cause. This could be solved in the blockchain with the transparency of information and the use of smart contracts, where somebody would say, if you donate 10 euros, you would have 60 vaccines for this certain zone or country, which you can then prove. Which would also even increase health financing, which is one of the sub-goals of this SDG. Thank you.
Health records, deployment, crowdfunding, incredible. Really, really appreciate that. Solving huge issues. Next up. And again, I'm so inspired. You guys have gone from, in many cases, not even knowing about blockchain technology or social entrepreneurship to then giving a pitch and presentation. Next up, we have SDG 9. Let's hear for 9.
Hello, my name is Mia Ross. I am a master's student at St. John's University studying international communications.
And I'm Sharon London. I just was
And we'll be discussing the 9th developmental goal. 8 billion people are currently without access to electricity. And to address this issue, we decided to provide satellites to give widespread internet access, which would work as a corridor to empower connection and access to education, information, and useful services to people. And we would also use alternative forms of energy to provide device charging stations, so for your cell phones, laptops, and things like that. And we can use anything ranging from wind power to water power to solar energy, but in some form it would have to be alternative. And we would use blockchain to community contract and crowdfund for landlocked areas. So say an island prone to natural disasters would be able to kind of bring itself back together and rebuild in a quicker manner. And they would do that through a community board, which would be half youth and half elders, to give everyone a seat at the table and make it gender equal as well, and use the multiple signature feature to make the decisions of which companies to hire to build the alternative energy and the satellite that would provide internet access.
Brilliant idea, and again, inspired by some of the sessions we had earlier, satellite technology, energy, really exciting. Thank you guys for that. Next up, we have Chain of Green Communities. Let's hear it for the Chain of Green.
Hello again, my name is Hallelujah Lewis. I come from New York City, St. John's University, master's student in international communications. And we had zero hunger, which is the second goal. And for us, it was the hardest at first because naturally, as the United States, we want to look out and look at maybe sub-Saharan Africa and say, well, they need help. But the SDGs are also for us in the developed world. So what we came up with was this idea of chain of green communities. And we found out that every 8th family in the United States are food insecure. There are 10,000 community gardens in the United States, and we propose that we double that. Double the number, we connect them, they exchange the best practices, make them sustainable, they're community driven, and this benefits the community financially, and also they are accountable. So the idea is a chain of green. Yes, it is the blockchain. All of the communities and the leaders of those gardens will register their garden, but also the chain as sharing best practices, because someone who is farming can give me in New York City, in Harlem, an idea of how I can sustain that garden. For the blockchain, we will track the community involvement, so it's transparent. I actually see what you are doing. You can see what I'm doing, and we're both accountable. And donations and funding, I give my money or you give your money, you can see where the funds are going, where they're going, and that they're actually making a difference, so we wouldn't have to worry. So, chain of green.
Great, thank you so much. Yeah, we produce enough food to feed 10 billion people, yet we still have so many that are hungry. So great use of blockchain technology and some of our oldest technology in agriculture. Next up, we are working on it. We have Crystal. Let's hear for Crystal.
So we present the SDG number 4, quality education. And with regard to this, we have a brand for our social enterprise called Crystal, which means that we will use the blockchain Crystal is a system to protect transparency and objectivity of research, academic research and scientific data, which means that if there are some research that are unlikely to be published for sensitive issues in the society because of some cultural or political reasons, once it's published on the blockchain, it never can be removed or changed, and so on. Yeah. Someone can add some examples. Yeah. So, like as example, some certain kinds of statistics of HIV infected, for example, people or disabled people in society, or the ranking of certain political parties or institutions in so-called dictatorship states, or like whatever. Like there are numbers of scientific and academic research that are conducted with regards to this, but they don't have opportunity to be published. And the blockchain and our crystal system of blockchain can guarantee and enhance objectivity of education in this field.
All right, thank you. Really exciting idea to be able to disrupt our current system of academic research, of scientific peer review. On blockchain, it would become completely visible to anyone to be able to evaluate. Next up, we have Revalue Waste Initiative. Let's hear it for Revalue.
Hello everyone. Apparently we forgot to mention our goal, which is number 12, responsible production and consumption. So, on behalf of the Revalue Waste Initiative, we would like to welcome you all. My name is Lucia Römpli, I'm from Hungary, and alongside with my colleagues, Muhammad Sak from Egypt, Alan Spoganovic from Serbia, and Dylan Rakic from Hungary, we are the team of Revalue Waste Initiative. The issue we devoted ourselves to is waste management because it's a huge issue in Egypt, and the company is based in Egypt. We targeted 3 vulnerable groups: youth, the unemployed people, and the displaced people. And our goal is to tackle pollution, unemployment, and scarce resources with our initiative.
As my friend have mentioned, the problem is that the waste management. We have decided to create ground recycling company, which will be based on the system CCC model, which is collecting trash, convert and recycle this trash, and then to consume it in the way to make new productions of it and to sell it again. The value for our project is to make social impact by creating new jobs for the youth especially and displaced people. Our economic value is to give an opportunity to the families to have more ways and opportunities to have new incomes. The environmental value is that we're gonna help the society with this project to have better air and to have better water, because we'll also collect the trash from all the water. The development, as we have mentioned, not just the CCC model, but we have also on our plan to open new branches in different countries once our project is successful in Egypt. We would like to fundraise our project through crowdfunding. We will use blockchain with this project, which is easy to get an access for from all the people all over the world who would like to invest or even to donate in this project. And that's
Great guys, really, really concise, well-researched, huge problem, great solution. Do we have any more coming up? We do. This is a very interesting SDG. It is, what SDG is it? Time.
This also one another.
What's that?
They have one another.
You have another slide.
15, life on land.
Life on land, okay.
Yes. This was just mine.
Next one. All right, well, come on up, guys. Life on land, let's hear it.
Kinirabi. I'm Tatiana Sejic. And so we chose to focus on illegal logging and like the management of forests and national parks, for example. And so our idea is to have satellite tech to map out the forests or the national parks, and to then sell the responsibility rights of this land through blockchain. And this way people are able to see how the parks are being used and managed, and this will allow for transparency and shared responsibility, and they can actually have a say in like what is happening with these parks.
Okay, I'm coming from the field of cultural diplomacy, so it was not easy for me to jump into this topic from point of view of my colleague. But we could agree that it is important in terms of life quality to develop strategy which will encompass all groups. Cultural diplomacy can be a powerful tool to connect education and other fields of interaction to raise value transparency of the natural sources and to raise responsibility of all people from the area. Like they can also develop tourism at a regional level, not only people from outside. So education can offer definitely great programs through digital diplomacy for raise of value transparency of the natural resources and to support shared responsibility development. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more groups? Is that it? You guys have?
Yeah.
All right, we're tired people working in a kindergarten. Let's hear it.
Good afternoon. My name is Fisnik. I'm a master student here in Vienna.
And I'm Aline. I'm a master student too at the University of Vienna.
And we actually had more than one goal. We had 3 goals, and we were debating how to combine or talk about all 3 goals. So we had no poverty, we had gender equality, and we had decent work. And then we were talking the whole day about the next generation, the future, but then realized that we should also think about the older generation. And that are our ideas for that.
So yeah, instead of tackling like only one goal, we tackled one vulnerable group and tried to combine all the 3 goals. And we felt like, okay, there are more and more older people who can't cover their living costs, so how we can help them. And we felt like, okay, they have a lot of interesting stories, experiences they could share, and therefore we want to employ them in the kindergarten and let them tell their stories, not as a typical person who works in a kindergarten, but more as a kind of storyteller. They only come for a few hours. And so that could give older people a new perspective and financial support. And on the one side, we want to finance it. It should be financed by the government, and on the other hand, we want to use these open source platforms to raise money so people can donate. And we also thought that volunteers could somehow record the stories of retired people and put them on this open source platform, so it's accessible for older people. And also, for example, if you're writing a history book or you want to do a new study and you need like qualitative data, you could enter that and donate money for this kind of information. Yeah, that's our idea.
That was the last one. Let's hear a big round of applause for Silicon Valley and seeing what you guys have all done in less than an hour. We we just could not have expected any better than this. Again, for the people watching, in many cases these are youth or youth at heart, activists and students who in many cases have had no experience in this specific topic that they got right beforehand to then apply blockchain technologies in the most complex work. It is really exciting, and we hope that, above all, you guys had fun in learning about this, that entrepreneurship doesn't have to be this terrible grind of always struggling to survive, but really an encouraging, creative process that hopefully you all can take these experiences and look at what really you are passionate about. Right now, in the US alone, only 30% of workers are engaged with their jobs. We're going to see widespread automation in this new fourth industrial revolution, where more and more jobs are being taken away, whether by AI at the smart repetitive jobs, or by machinery and robotics at the dirty and non-intellectual jobs. So it really opens up a whole new field of entrepreneurship where you're able to do what you really love, and hopefully you can find that SDG and many SDGs to tie them to. So we hope that you'll share this video on the Unido Facebook site and encourage your community to vote for your project. And maybe, of course, entrepreneurship is incredibly risky. We expect 90% of them to fail. And so we encourage you to take those risks and not get discouraged if it doesn't work out. That you can continue to reiterate, to pivot, to come up with new ideas, that it may take many failures to fail and fail again until you succeed. But if one of these ideas, that thousands, ends up affecting 1 billion people, ends up achieving the SDGs, this of course would all be worth it. So we again want to thank you all and encourage you to not just share this with the Youth Entrepreneurship 2030 hashtag, but the rest of the sessions from this day, that you can continue to educate your communities. Oh, there's one more that we have been saving for you guys. That's what you were saying. Okay, so in closing, one of the most important SDGs we have, number 16. Come on up, let's hear it. Woo! The Equity Island. You can if you want.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maya, and I'm here with my colleague Stefano. And then I have Eleni, Marcus, Oliver, and Adira over there. So we worked really hard, and we began from the idea of peace because we were thinking about SDG number 16. It is so complex, so we just picked peace, which is wonderful. And we thought that actually peace is managed nowadays, especially by, let's say, the refugee crisis or the way we approach that crisis. So we developed an idea, which actually, the goal of this idea was to blend together refugees and immigrants in general and locals. And the very important point is that this idea can be replicated. So it's not, just for one place, we can just replicate it wherever we need this sort of solution, let's say. So actually we thought about the refugees, and we thought that what they would like, what we think that they would like to do the most is to put their knowledge into practice, to be useful. So we valued the refugees and thought of a way that could put together the demand of services from the local community and the supply of skills by the refugees. So as you can see on the left, we have the input could come from governmental institutions or university or the industry, and from local people. And the refugees and immigrants could respond to that input, but also the local people, because we just want to create community. So it's not just, I need to repaint my house, so I'm a local, I need to repaint my house, and then one refugee says that, okay, I can do that, but we also want to include all the people. So it's a
platform for everybody. So that was our idea. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. And while Lainey is up here right now, we've worked together on a project with students at UC Berkeley talking about these types of social entrepreneurship issues with her eco retreat in Lesbos, Greece, where they are focusing on this type of refugee technology, ocean conservation, economic development. And Lainey, will you just say just a quick word about your vision for this conference festival in June?
Okay. Thank you, Harry. So it's very nice to be here and be invited here by Harry as well. We are trying to put together a youth summit in June to bring together and empower the youth from across the globe using students from universities and also schools within Europe. We have a marine conservation sanctuary that we're trying to pull together and to bring the startup environment ecosystem to Lesbos to offset the trauma that was created because of the Syrian immigration crisis to Lesbos, because now Lesbos is considered a refugee island, so the local economy is very poor and people are desperate and looking for ways to offset the trauma. So I came up with this initiative to create a challenge lab with the students of Berkeley, and we are pulling off startup businesses that potentially could actually take place on Lesbos. So we're looking for foreign participation from all across the globe. So we would love to hear from you all. Thank you.
Great, thanks again, guys. Okay, so now I think that was officially our last group. So thank you again for that, last but certainly not least. So we recommend for you all to stay in touch with each other now that we'll have this digital format. You can continue to brainstorm. Imagine these UC Berkeley students, for instance, had an entire semester to work on a similar project like this. So think about how much you guys could do with a day, a semester, a year, a lifetime of work. This is really just the tip of the iceberg. So we recommend you all again to share all this information online. No trolls allowed, only positive feedback. No buts, but yes and. Think about that. Think about how you can be productive and constructive and positive through this discussion. We like to host, instead of Shark Tanks, Dolphin Tanks. So to be able to have these safe spaces for pitch competitions as experiential education formats where you can get positive feedback instead of, in too many cases, we see with our market system, investors that only are focused on profit. We want to focus on that triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. So with that, I want to turn it over to Matteo, who will talk more and close us out for the day. But first, actually, if we could get one big picture with all the groups, if you guys could raise up your SDGs. And this Okay, we're gonna get a panoramic, okay? Everyone who doesn't have an SDG, wave. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Come around, keep waving. Yeah, keep waving. All right, big round of applause for everyone again. Wow, this was